welcome to the All About Animals radio show. We are a volunteer-run community radio station dedicated to all animals and those who advocate for them. My name is Nikita Dhawan, and today we have Ms. Khushboo Gupta for the All About Elephant show. Ms. Khushboo is the Chief Advocacy Officer and Media Spokesperson at PETA India, standing for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. PETA has done a lot of investigative work in the animal welfare field, particularly for animal exploitation in the entertainment industry and in the food and leather industry. And I'm really excited to have you here. How are you, Ms. Khushboo, today?
Hi, Nikita. I'm good, and thank you for having me on the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. I'm so excited for this interview. And can you just start by telling us about your background and how you got involved in this field?
All right. So I have been into animal welfare for about 15 years now. And I'm a trained social worker. I'm master's in social work. And while I was doing my studies, I saw that we have been working with different vulnerable groups, right? I work with women in need of women in distress, and then children in need of care and protection. And then I realized that there is a like big non-human members of big chunk of population of non-human members in our society, which are animals. And then nobody is really talking about that because it's only in the past couple of years that we have like dedicated studies for animal laws or animal welfare in India. But before that, at the time, there was nothing at all. So I had always, wanted to use my skills for animals, skills in social work to help animals. And that's what I did. And I find that hands-on work is really challenging people who are always out there rescuing, sheltering, and treating animals in need of medical aid. So my skills are basically in policy making. So that's how I got involved with animals, and especially in the area of policy making and advocacy.
That's really interesting. It's very cool how you started with social work and how that sort of intersects with animal welfare in terms of like helping voiceless communities and those that we exploit. So, and after that, I know you've done a lot of work in like the dairy and farming industry I'd seen on your profile, and now you're working at PETA. So can you tell us more about just PETA India and its mission? What kind of work do you guys do?
Yeah, so yeah, that's right. I started with an approach of animal welfare, but both are important both are important for animals, because if you have to achieve something for animals, then you have to start from a certain point. So to reach from A to Z, when you begin from A, it usually starts from a welfare identification of a problem, welfare ask, and ultimately, for an animal's eye, animal rights should be the ultimate goal that we wanted. So I started out with working in animal welfare, but ultimately I'm working with PETA. Its motto is very famous, which says animals are not ours to experiment on, eat, wear, use for entertainment, or abuse in any other way. And I am being the director of the advocacy projects at PETA India. We look into all sorts of work with the government, the policymakers, and basically working with the bureaucrats, politicians to get better new policies for animals, or look at the existing policies, and if they need any amendment, then we work with the government on that, and also change something which is currently in the law and it's not helping animals at all, or is creating problems for them, or is infringing on their rights. In that case, me and my team is working with the government on this mainly. PETA India also works in different areas other than policy and governance, which are to working on animals in lab. We do a lot of vivisection work, and then we're working on animals which are used for tourism in the entertainment industry. We're rescuing animals from circuses. We also have a fantastic round-the-clock helpline for advising people who want to help animals in need. It's called the emergency response team that we have. PETA India is also involved in a lot of direct action, wherein we are filing complaints with the police if there has been any animal cruelty. And of course, educating the young people in the country by running a program which is for school students. Wherein our team goes and teaches them, shares knowledge about and gives them perspective on how to be a compassionate citizen.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's great how, PETA is doing work from both top to down with the government and legal frameworks, but also, as you said, working with children and getting the grassroots efforts as well. And I think one where both come into play is one of your main campaigns on temple elephants. So, can you just tell us more about temple elephants and how they're used in India in general? What kind of conditions do they endure, and what problems are they facing when in captivity, which we may not realize as just viewers to the festivals?
Sure. So a lot of temples in India, especially in southern part of India, have elephants, which are in and who are in captivity there. So the main purpose of these elephants today is mainly to they are involved in some of the rituals in the temple, sometimes used for a public procession to carry the deity on their back. Also sometimes and most of the times, in fact, they are just used for blessing the devotees, they lift their trunk and then put it on the head of the person in front, and it is considered a blessing from the elephant, and that stems from a belief that elephant in India is a form of Lord Ganesha, who is revered in our culture. Though what PETA India believes that no abused animal can ever bless, right? So captivity, when these animals, elephants are social animals whose homes are jungles, and in order to keep them anywhere, whether they are used for a circus or rides or in a temple, they are taken away from their jungle homes. They are ripped apart from their families. Then it follows a cruel training. There are lots of videos online showing that how they are put in a crusher, and that crush, which is called corral, and they're kept hungry and thirsty for days and poked with ankush, which is a metal tipped hook kind of which is a stick with the metal hook, with a sharp metal hook with which they are poked repeatedly. These animals, they're confused, they just don't know what we are trying to tell them, what we are trying to make them to do. And ultimately, when their spirit is broken, they're brought to different places, and one of those places are temples. And there in temples also, everything that is meaningful and natural to an elephant is denied to them. They're kept or they're kept all day on concrete. They're chained. They are again, they're beaten up. They're beaten up with the ankush. They're beaten up with sticks, and their foot tissues. If you see that commonly, elephants who are in temples, they have terrible foot condition. They have different diseases, infections. There's completely unnatural food, unnatural life. In jungles, elephant would walk for hours and hours, but in captivity, along with the mohoth, how much they would be able to walk? Maybe 1 hour in the evening and 1 hour in the morning. That's it. And whole day, their job is to just collect money in exchange of those blessings, or maybe be used as a decoration, I would say, in the temples. So that's what the condition of these elephants is in the temples. And recently, PETA India had run a big campaign to highlight the plight of one elephant in a temple in Tamil Nadu. It's called Sree Nachiyar Temple. And there is an elephant there. Her name is Jai Malata. She's called Jai Malata in Tamil Nadu, but her original name is Joy Mala, because she's originally from Assam. So she was. There were two videos that were released by the media. First, when she was taken to a so-called rejuvenation camp, which was supposed to be her vacation to see other elephants and get some pampering. But what happened there was she was tied to a tree and beaten up by two Mohots. And then there was another video that came forward, which was from this time from inside the temple premises, where again a Mohot was beating her and she was screaming in pain. So PETA India had taken this up, and we worked with the Tamil Nadu Forest Department. We approached them, the Forest Department, the department that is, the authority for the temple management, which is the Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowments Department. So we work with both, and we try to, ask them to rehabilitate her, because clearly if there is a need, if the Mahout is repeatedly mistreating her, that is not just a violation of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. This is plainly brutal, it's cruel, and then animals don't deserve to be, and to be given that sort of treatment. And we had been working with the government, but it did not really, come to any conclusion. And they had taken measures by forming some committees to oversee her welfare. But ultimately, we also further investigation revealed that she was also illegally held in Tamil Nadu, which is also true for most of the elephants in the temples. Which is surprising, because the temples are actually, if you'll see that elephant is a wild animal, and wild animal which is protected under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act of the country, which means that elephant enjoys the highest level of protection. And the temples are openly violating that law, which says that they need to have proper documentation if they have to keep elephants. But none of, most of the temples in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, even in Karnataka, wherever, especially in temples, elephants are kept illegally. And the temples, refuse to give up the elephants basis the illegality. And it's hard to believe that they are, in a way, if an elephant is kept illegally, it's basically wildlife poaching. Because you're going to the jungles, getting the wildlife and making them captive without the due permission of the law. So that's what the condition of elephants is right now.
Yeah, I've seen, I saw her video. It was really heartbreaking to see how she was being treated. And, although there was no conclusion with the government, at least it's good that her condition was brought, there was attention from the public eye, and that there were some level of committees formed to overlook it. And I had also seen that she was at least there for 6 months, but she was illegally held for a long time. And I was wondering about, the legal frameworks around temple elephants, but you clarified it about how there are loopholes in it. And I just wanted to ask as a follow-up question, there's been a recent amendment to the Wildlife Protection Act, which specifies under what conditions elephants can be transferred. And one of them is religious purposes. So does that have, what's the status with that amendment, and how is that factored into the plight of temple elephants?
So the amendment is now passed, and the Wildlife Protection Act has been revised. And, earlier the government had proposed that elephants would be the government tried to make an amendment which meant that the commercial trade of elephants would open up. But after a lot of resistance, that was changed. The law was again revised. And now there is this amendment in Section 43 of the Act, which says that for transfer and transport of elephants, you need to, the central government will make certain terms and conditions for religious or any other purpose. Basically, it is for any purpose. So if you are specifically saying religious or any other purpose, you are not really eliminating any purpose at all. So which this basically means that for any transfer and transport of elephants, there has to be a certain terms and conditions that central government will form, and those needs to be followed. Now, this is I would say that the amendment of the Wildlife Protection Act, as PETA India had requested the ministries, was a failed opportunity wherein the ministry could have ended the captivity of elephants. But then, that did not happen. They just went for a regulation route, which is very dangerous, because what we have seen, that the regulations still exist. The state governments still have, like, there is a central government guideline for movement of elephants. There are, the state government rules for keeping elephants. But what we actually observe in reality on the field with them is that they are abused day in and day out. Elephants are taken from one place to another by completely, with complete disregard to the law, and such things are not happening. For example, in case of Jai Malta, she was leased out from Assam to Tamil Nadu for 3 years, and it's been more than 10 years that she's still there. She was to return after 3 years, and now even the state government refuses to do so. Due to PETA India's public pressure and our campaign, the Assam government went to the court, and now they have to, they are asking the court for the custody of Joymala. So they call her Joymala. So for her custody, they had to move to the High Court because the other state government is refusing to even return the elephant. And PETA India also an intervener in the case. And what we are asking is a complete rehabilitation for the elephant, because just bringing her back to the hometown or, in the habitat is not going to help. She needs a specialized rehabilitation center. She needs a sanctuary. She needs a specialized veterinary care to heal, not just physically, but also psychologically from the trauma of captivity that she has gone through. Right. So it's in the court. So let's see how it pans out. But lately there have been a lot of progressive orders from the Tamil Nadu High Court regarding the captive elephants, and the courts have taken cognizance, and they have been asking the governments to form policy that basically form policy that takes away from the elephants in captivity. So that is like, something which we see that might we might see better condition of captive elephants in maybe 10 years down the line in the country. But yeah, there is hope.
Yeah, that's great about the progressive movements by the government, and I completely agree with everything you said. And I can imagine a part of the difficulty in the government enforcing regulations for temple elephants in specific is their religious importance. Can create, I guess, conflict with those communities, since they say, this is our culture, so you cannot take that away from us. So, and I feel like the solution that PETA has been working on sort of works with both sides, both regarding animal welfare and also helping those who still celebrating the festivals. So that brings me to discussing the solution of robotic elephants. So you've recently worked with the life-sized elephant Irinyana Pili, and he was donated to the Sree Krishna Temple. So can you just tell us about this robotic elephant and describe it? What are its features? How lifelike is it? Is it mobile? What materials is it made of, etc.?
Sure. So Iriana Pili Raman, that's the name of the elephant. And what's very common in temples in Kerala is that the temples, especially the temples are have a family name. For example, this temple is Iriana Pili Sree Krishna Temple. And they also, if somebody had to donate a live elephant to a temple, the elephant would also carry the family name as a prefix to his name. So that's why this one is called Iriana Pili Raman. So you can imagine, the kind of acceptance that this life-sized robotic elephant has received in Kerala. Mm-hmm. So PETA... So Iriana Pili Raman is he's about 800 kgs and and he is 11 feet tall, So in Kerala, there is another thing where they would really like there are special groups of elephant lovers, and they would really observe what is the height and physical features and traits of an elephant, and that's why we had meticulously put attention to how this elephant would look like. So Yanapilli Raman is a lifelike robotic elephant, which is 11 feet high, and he can, it can move its eyes, ears, tails, and lift its trunk to perform the blessing action to the devotees, and also spew water from the trunk. So, it can be used for the temple rituals, for the processions, for carrying the deity on top, for the Annapuram ritual. So, if you have seen some people climbing on top of an elephant and, raising umbrellas and everything. So, for that particular ritual, which is very famous in Kerala, this elephant can be very well used for it. And we demonstrated it when during the Nadaya Ritul ceremony. Nadaya Ritul means basically it's a ritual where an elephant is donated to the deity of the temple. So we performed the exact same ritual that anyone would do with the live elephant. And I performed the Nadaya Ritul of Yanapilli Raman and devoted it to the Krishna, which is the main deity of this particular temple. He's made of unlike the real elephants, he does not need food, water, veterinary care, or the company of other elephants, because he's just made of iron frame, mesh, rubber, and there are 5 motors which help with the movement of just like a lifelike elephant. The people, at the launch, they were so happy looking at that elephant. There were people who were saying that they don't feel, they don't feel scared, because temples are supposed to be, temples, when we visit temple with our family, it's supposed to be a serene, peaceful experience. But when there are elephants in the temples or during the temple festival, it just creates such a such an environment of unrest, because you never know when the elephant will run amok. You never know if you will come alive from the temple, from that festival, if you get attacked by an elephant, if your child would get harmed. But with such robotic elephants, you don't have to worry about all those things. The rituals can be followed. The ceremonies can be as they are. The same kind of drums and melums and everything that are played in front of the elephant. It could be in a same way, but without any fear of life. As you might know that in Kerala alone, like more than 500 people have lost their lives in the past 15 years due to elephant attacks in the temple festivals. Wow. So that's a big number.
Yeah, I completely agree. It seems that the solution is more manageable in terms of safety and also just resources. You don't need those elements of food and water. And I also love that the elephant is mobile. I'd seen a video and it made it seem really lifelike. And you mentioned that people, were very happy. They felt more peaceful. So in general, was the reaction positive? How did the temple authorities receive it?
No, the temple authorities are glad, and they have received it with open arms altogether. So the priest Rajkumar Nambuturi of that temple is himself a very compassionate man. And he cares about animals. And when we took this idea to him, he was very happy, in fact, that such an alternative is available, and and he instantly agreed to pledge, because whenever PETA is offering such an alternative to any temple, we are also making them to pledge that they will never use an elephant or any other animal for the temple rituals or ceremonies. So he was very happy to make that pledge, and in support of that pledge, we donated this elephant, and he stood by it. There was a lot of resistance initially, as it is for any new idea. So
Right.
there were some groups that, which were resisting, but he stood by it. And he stood by the fact that the role of elephants in a temple is just as a decoration.
Mm.
And, it costs lakhs and lakhs of money for the temples, which they don't have to hire such elephants. And in such times, a priest or temple authorities are not wrong to look at the alternatives where there is so much of cruelty on these animals. And he stood by the fact that the true tenet of Hinduism is ahimsa, and when we have elephants in captivity, that involves a lot of cruelty. So that's not what our temples stand for. That's not what our religion stands for. Then why should we stand for, continuing a baseless, a baseless basically tradition? And
Mm.
cruelty cannot be, or tradition cannot be reason to continue a cruelty or cruel, practice in our culture. So he has been very kind and compassionate, and that really helped to bring this alternative to Kerala in a temple. And now many and many more temples are approaching PETA India, and we have asked them to, we have informed them about our pledge, and they are ready to pledge. And there are many more elephants in making that we would be donating in very soon.
That's really good to hear. And you've mentioned just other temples showing interest as well. So I just wanted to ask, what do you see as the future for these robotic elephants? How do you plan to expand? Is there a possibility of sponsorship by companies and celebrities just to help with these efforts?
Yeah, why not? Like PETA India stands ready to guide and assist any temple that
Mhm.
wishes to, use such mechanical elephants or a palanquin or a chariot, which are also, ways that can be replaced, that can be used instead of using a live elephant for temple rituals. So we stand ready and guide, and especially we urge temples to consider giving their live elephants for rehabilitation to sanctuaries and then adopt these alternatives. We would be very happy. This time in Kerala, Parvati Thiruvodu, the South Indian actress, she supported the initiative, and
Mhm.
a lot of celebrities, they tweeted about it. I met few after the launch, and they were thrilled with the idea. And certainly, we would like many more companies to come forward, because when these you might know about Trishul Puram, right? So when this Trishul Puram event happens in Kerala, which is like the biggest elephant performance festival, which also is debatable whether it's legal or not. Even in that, a lot of sponsors come forward from different walks of different companies. They come forward and they sponsor the event. So we would really like if there are companies which are coming and sponsoring the cost of this elephant, which is just mere 5 lakh rupees. And then it's basically for years and years to come. This elephant needs minimal maintenance. So for years and years to come, that money can help perform temple rituals in a safe and cruelty-free manner.
No, yeah, I think definitely the benefits that you've highlighted of this solution definitely outweigh any cost of not having a real elephant. I think it's a really great solution. I've heard other ones about like having holographic elephants, but I think this one just makes it really lifelike. So it's really interesting to see that actually being implemented. And just regarding this campaign in general, other than having initial resistance, what were the challenges that you faced, either in manufacturing or expanding, whatever, in the campaign?
Yeah, of course, finding somebody, to make such a lifelike elephant was the biggest challenge,
Hmm.
first of all. And, I think we were very lucky that we could find someone which was within Kerala, but we
Hmm.
were absolutely ready to get it manufactured anywhere in the country and then transported to Kerala. Because, for the sake of those elephants, which are abused day in and day out for the temple festivities. So we could find one, and then we work closely with the manufacturers to make it lifelike, to ensure that the ears look like an Asian elephant and not an African elephant, for
Right.
instance. Those kind of nitty gritties. the height, the level from the ground that the trunk should be raised so that the blessing action can be as natural as possible. So there's been a lot of background work that went into it, and yeah, and it was that was, I think, the basic challenge that we faced initially, but that's now solved. And now the challenge would only be that we would want, the government should come forward and support it. There's been a lot of voices of support from here and there, but it would be really, nice that if the government basically replaces wherever there is use of live elephant with such a mechanical elephant.
And definitely regarding those voices, I know PETA India has been very successful in getting the support of celebrities and campaigns, such as you mentioned, the South Indian actor Parvati. So can you just tell us a bit more about the role of celebrities in your campaign and how that's helped you gain support?
So the celebrities that support PETA, we are really grateful to them, because they are the way to reach out to the masses. And especially, if and that's really cool, right? If a celebrity is supporting, sorry. So if a celebrity is supporting a particular campaign, so it becomes really, people listen to them, people understand. The celebrities who support PETA are compassionate themselves. And that has really helped, like, Parvati Thiruvotu coming forward and supporting this idea of mechanical elephant. Also got a lot of, media interested in this particular launch of a robotic elephant. And though the concept itself was very much interested, but having her with it also was, it received acceptability from the masses. So definitely PETA India has always had celebrity friends who come and support us, not just for temple elephant campaigns, for anything, whether it is spay and neuter, whether it is veganism, whether it is, not using animals in labs, for anything. They have always come forward and supported.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And thank you so much for your insights. I loved hearing your perspective on temple elephants. I think one thing that stuck with me about what you said is just an abused elephant can't bless. And I think that just shows the disparity in saying we're celebrating elephants as deities, yet also, giving way to situations where we can abuse them and that can be overlooked by the law. And just hearing about the solution, it just, gives me hope that these things are actually practical and being accepted, which I thought was really interesting. And I just wanted to ask, how can the listeners or the public get involved in this cause for temple elephants and support PETA?
Oh, that would be fantastic if people considering, talking to their local temples and asking them to switch to a mechanical elephant, so that they don't hire an elephant for the rituals, or or if that temple already has a captive elephant, it would really, really help if a lot of people are going and talking to the temple authorities and showing them this alternative, and telling them that why they would like to see a mechanical elephant instead, and this elephant be sent to a sanctuary. That would be fantastic. And people, if any temple authority is interested, they can contact PETA India. And if any devotee who wants to donate a mechanical elephant to a temple can also contact PETA India, and we'll be very happy to facilitate it.
Definitely. And we'll link all of PETA's social media handles and campaign links in the description. So those who are listening definitely should go check that out. And just thank you so much, Miss Khushboo, for coming in today. I loved hearing everything you had to say. And I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Nikita, for having me for this interaction, and good luck to you as well on all your endeavors for animals, and especially for Shankar.